النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. We'll carry on, inshallah, the meaning of Surah Al-Baqarah. We are now in ayah 116 and talking about the Christian and Jew, and especially the Christian, because the Jew said Uzair ibn Allah, the Christian said Jesus ibn Allah, so they both claimed Allah has a son. I was listening to an American rabbi, and I was amazed. He said the Jew are allowed to enter the mosques, but they're not allowed to enter churches, because the Christian take Jesus as Son of God and a partner, so they are mushrikeen, pagans, and while the Muslims don't. So, and he said some people say that the Muslims worship Kaaba, and he said no, their research and confirmation from the synagogues and the chief rabbis that they don't. They move around Kaaba, but they praise Allah Azza wa Jal. But he had a lot of other things. He said Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was copying what was in the Torah, and Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he wasn't able to read Arabic, never mind reading Hebrew. So here وقال أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وقالوا اتخذ الله ولدا سبحانه. So every time they claim this major insult to Allah Azza wa Jal, we have to praise Allah Azza wa Jal and purify him from any defect, from any need for any. And if any, when people say Allah has a son, they don't even know Allah Azza wa Jal. So how would Allah has a son and you don't even know what Allah is? You know what you are and what the animals around you, what the earth around you, the sun and the moon, but you don't know what Allah is. How would you say that he has a son? Or split? Because some of them say split. Some of them say he came down in the body of Jesus as a spirit. And they don't know what spirit is. So, every time they try to... This is why atheists trick the Christian very easily. And they tumble through a lot of obstacles because they can't answer. And Allah Azza wa Jal said, بَلْ لَهُ, to him all what's in the heavens and the earth. And they all worship Allah Azza wa Jal and submit to Allah Azza wa Jal and return to Allah Azza wa Jal. Sheikh Sha'rawi was talking about how many times Allah addressed this issue in the Quran. And the word walad, that Allah Azza wa Jal had a son, appeared in 18 places in the Quran. And some of it, Allah Azza wa Jal commented very strongly and criticized it. So, and da'u lirrahmani waladan. And in this, in Surah Maryam, Allah Azza wa Jal was so severe against them. I admired when I came to Britain, when Sheikh Ahmed Deedat was answering the Christian, making dialogue with them, and he quoted these ayahs from Surah Maryam, that وَقَالُوا اتَّخَذُوا أَنْ دَعُوا لِلرَّحْمَنِ وَلَدًا وَقَالُوا اتَّخَذَ الرَّحْمَنُ وَلَدًا. They said, Ar-Rahman, the most gracious, has begotten a son. And there's another ayah, Walad ar-Rahman. They took it out of the Bible now, begotten. The only begotten son, they took away the begotten. Because it sounds really awful that, a pregnant and give birth to a child, and that wasn't going to come down easily with the Christian in the 20th century and 21st century. And then Allah Azza wa Jal said, لَقَدْ جِئْتُمْ شَيْئًا إِدَّا. And idda is one of the words which is in Arabic by itself is like, strengthened. Idda. Monstrous, very, very, awful. تكاد السماوات والأرض يتفطرن منه. The whole heavens would have shattered because of this big lie. And the earth will split. And the mountain will, go into, dust and things and disintegrate because of when they claim Allah ar-Rahman has walad and da'u lirrahmani walada. وَمَا يَنْبَغِي لِلرَّحْمَنِ أَنْ يَتَّخِذَ وَلَدًا. It's not feasible that Allah Azza wa Jal will have a child. Why would he have a child? He created the universe and he was there before he had a child and nothing missing, and the child taken up to heaven and nothing needed after Jesus. So he wasn't needed before or after. And the worst thing they actually do, they claim he sent his son to sacrifice his son so Adam will be forgiven, the original sin. And obviously when you see any problem, like when we were talking about Aqidah al-Qushayriyah, purification of the heart last week, and talking about hasad, and how hasad, envy, because there's a problem with the Aqidah. They don't accept that Allah Azza wa Jal gives whoever he wanted, whatever he wishes. So they deny Allah Azza wa Jal the freedom of choice and wisdom of choice. And the same here, they deny Allah Azza wa Jal the ability to forgive, the ability to forgive. What will stop Allah Azza wa Jal forgive all mankind, make them all believers? Nothing. Allah Azza wa Jal has a plan when to test you. You pass the test, you become a noble person, really, good to live with, get you to Jannah, because they're living eternal life. Sometimes you have a neighbor you can't tolerate for a couple of weeks. You go on holiday, the next door neighbor just cut you short, holiday short, and come back. Or sometimes you go visit your families back home and then say, oh my God, better go back to my foreign home, which is, you think you're going to, I've been back to Syria many times, but on occasions I said, why am I coming down? People upset, they were not happy, whatever you give them present, whatever is not up to their expectation and things. وَمَا يَنْبَغِي لِلرَّحْمَنِ أَنْ يَتَّخِذَ وَلَدًا إِنْ كُلُّ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ إِلَّا آتِي الرَّحْمَنَ عَبْدًا إِلَّا آتِي الرَّحْمَنِ عَبْدًا. Everyone in the heavens and earth will come to Allah Azza wa Jal as a servant. لَقَدْ أَحْصَاهُمْ وَعَدَّهُمْ عَدًّا. No one will be even missing. They all have been calculated, encompassed, and he knows all of them, and he knows one by one, not a single one missing. وَكُلُّهُمْ آتِيهِ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ فَرْدًا. Each one of them will come to him on his own, single. He cannot even defend himself and doesn't want even to know anybody, because they might, claim some of his good deeds. So you go more search about وَقَالُوا وَلَدَ اللَّهُ وَإِنَّهُمْ لَكَاذِبُونَ. They brought this as a verb, that Allah Azza wa Jal gave birth to أَلَا إِنَّهُمْ مِنْ إِفْكِهِمْ لَيَقُولُونَ. One of the evil lies and big lies they invent, that that Allah Azza wa Jal gave birth. Allah has begotten a child. وَلَدَ اللَّهُ. وَلَدَ اللَّهُ. I don't know where they put children. وَلَدَ اللَّهُ. A child or a daughter or children, could be. وَإِنَّهُمْ لَكَاذِبُونَ. أَصْطَفَى الْبَنَاتِ عَلَى الْبَنِينَ. That he has chosen daughters rather than sons, because they used to say the angels are the daughters of Allah Azza wa Jal. So you carry on checking about walad. لهم ما ينبغي الرحمن مريم وينذر, that's in Surah Al-Kahf, وينذر الذين قالوا اتخذ الله ولدا. So one of the job of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that he will receive the book from Allah Azza wa Jal. He's the servant of Allah, receive the book from Allah Azza wa Jal, and then he gives warning to those who say that Allah has begotten a son or taken a son, because the verb here take both, begotten a son, or he adopted or took or made a son for himself. اتخذ الله ولدا. ما لهم به من علم ولا بآبائهم. They don't know, nor their fathers, and that's a mighty word, a grievous word came out of their mouths, and this basically tell lies. And you carry on. ما اتخذ صاحبة ولا ولدا. He never had a companion lady or صاحبة, mistress or girlfriend or companion or wife. But صاحبة, subhanAllah, when I came to Britain, I found that you probably need صاحبة, because many people are living with a girlfriend. They're living with the common law wife. They're not a wife. So if Allah said zawja, become like, in Britain, they don't have zawja. Many of them have just a common law wife. And back here, وَقَالُوا اتَّخَذَ الرَّحْمَنُ وَلَدًا سُبْحَانَهُ بَلْ عِبَادٌ مُكْرَمُونَ. They said Allah took a child. All the praise to him. They're all servant to Allah Azza wa Jal, honored and honorable servants to Allah Azza wa Jal. And again, as he brought it from Surah Maryam here, and this is the ayah we're talking about. وَقَالُوا اتَّخَذَ اللَّهُ وَلَدًا سُبْحَانَهُ بَلْ لَهُ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ كُلٌّ لَهُ قَانِتُونَ. And then Allah Azza wa Jal said, لو أراد الله أن يتخذ ولدا, if Allah wanted to have a child, he would have chosen from whoever he created. To be still a created person adopted as a child to Allah Azza wa Jal. So the ayah didn't actually make a mistake. He would have given birth to a child. No, he said يتخذ ولدا لاصطفى مما يخلق لاصطفى مما يخلق ما يشاء. He would have chosen from those who he created. بديع السماوات والأرض, that's in Surah Al-An'am. أَنَّا يَكُونُ لَهُ وَلَدٌ وَلَمْ تَكُنْ لَهُ صَاحِبَةٌ. So how would he have a child? I never had a companion lady or a wife or a mistress or a girlfriend or common law wife, whatever they want to call it. And he created everything, and he is all knowledgeable of all things. Again in Surah Furqan, الذي له ملك السماوات والأرض ولم يتخذ ولدا ولم يكن له شريك في الملك. Neither he had a child nor he had a partner who shared the ownership with him. وقل الحمد لله الذي لم يتخذ ولدا ولم يكن له شريك في الملك. Again later in Surah Al-Isra, say Alhamdulillah, the one who never had a child and there were no partner to share the kingdom or the ownership with him, and he didn't need anyone to support him or protect him. And وَكَبِّرْهُ تَكْبِيرًا, say Allahu Akbar. And if we go to more of it, again in Surah Maryam, ما كان لله يتخذ من ولد سبحانه إذا قضى أمرا فإنما يقول له كن فيكون. Why you need a child? If you want anything, he will say to it be, and it is. Allah doesn't need to go and collect raw materials and parts and things. And this is the ayah. And then this we came across. We came across this one. ما اتخذ الله من ولد وما كان معه من إله إذن لذهب كل إله بما خلق ولا على بعضهم على بعض سبحان الله عما يصفون. ما اتخذ الله من ولد, never had a child, and no God was beside him. Otherwise every God would have gone away with what he created, and there will be rank, you know, is stronger. This God stronger than the other one, and this one is poorer than. There's another ayah. لو كان فيهما آلهة إلا الله لفسدتا. If they were God other than Allah Azza wa Jal, they would have been corrupted. And لو كان فيهم لابتغوا إلى ذي العرش سبيلا. If they were gods, they would go back up to the owner of the throne. And that's, I think, قالوا اتخذ الله ولدا سبحانه هو الغني. Doesn't need a child. He is al-Ghani. And to him, all what happens on earth. So why would you need a child to be deputize you? You don't need any deputy. You don't need any, because the other mistake they make, they say, oh, Allah doesn't know what's going on, so he sends Jesus to find out, because he's so far above the throne. And also they say Allah doesn't feel the suffering of people, so he sent Jesus, so Jesus will suffer and will go until that. That's limiting Allah Azza wa Jal. Obviously, their aqidah is wrong. The aqidah is false. This rabbi was saying plainly that the Muslims are closer to the Jewish than the Christian, saying, you know, with respect to Allah Azza wa Jal and His attribute and His name. I think we've done all of them.
I've seen a few video clips where they ask a bunch of Jews, and they say, yeah, we believe in the same God as Muslims, and Christians just worship idols. What if you say, I'll show it to you.
Yeah, I went, Saqib Hamid arranged for me to go to Bristol, and there were dialogue between Muslim, Christian and Jew. And I spoke, and the Jew spoke, and the Christian spoke, and I was more like compatible with the Jew when it came to the names and attributes of Allah Azza wa Jal. But I was surprised because he said the Muslims, Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam told the Muslims they will go to Jannah and they will enjoy the food and drink. They don't have Jannah. They don't believe they're going to Jannah. Or probably he didn't believe. But he was like, you know, I thought they believe in Jannah. But,
yeah, they believe. They said they stay for a little bit in Jahannam and they go to Jannah.
But he didn't acknowledge that they will go to Jannah. He said, the Muslim has been, yeah. And probably that's all. Yeah, here. سبحانه أن يكون له ولد إنما المسيح عيسى ابن مريم رسول الله وكلمته ألقاها إلى مريم. And there's another ayah. Easy. مثل عيسى عند الله كمثل آدم. If they were to dispute how did Isa came, they should have disputed Adam. Because Adam came without any origin from human. At least Isa, he had a mom. You could say, yes, you know, cloned and whatever. I mean, he's not cloned, subhanAllah. Even you can't say he's cloned because he's a boy and she's a girl. So back to the ayah in Surah Al-Baqarah. It took Sha'rawi also an hour talking about the meaning of the ayah, and he stopped, gave it quite a hammering. So وقالوا اتخذ الله ولدا سبحانه بل له ما في السماوات والأرض كل له قانتون. And then he said بديع السماوات والأرض. بديع is the creator from no previous similar object or anything. So he creates from nothing. Nobody ever heard of it. You could sometimes we say about, you know, إبداع in Arabic, مبدع. It comes with something nobody else actually came with. Phone your mum, see if she needs you to go, because phone the house لأنه ممكن تبع الحمام إجا يركب شغلة.
إجا هلا.
إيه. اتصل فيها أنت بتليفونها.
ما
اتصل على البيت. هي عم تتصل فيك؟
لا.
So Badi'a is the one who brings things from non-existent, never been before. He didn't copy anybody. It's amazing. There is a lot of things like Einstein. He copied his, somebody else with the relativity theory, but then he became famous with it, and the other guy disappeared. Now Tesla, the guy who actually invented electricity, went to transmit electricity from A to B without any cost and free to people. He didn't succeed, and they didn't actually give him a chance, and they rubbished him. A lot of his ideas taken by Thomson, and they put him on the side. So you find that many people actually copy, like it happened with me. I started a lithium clinic in when I was in North Wales, and I came here and presented the finding. I did research on it, and I found that I reduced admission by nearly 95%. Because people, I used to see them every month and bring people to talk to them, and continuously for the 3 years period, number dropped. When I left, number went up again. So one of the registrars picked it up and built the clinic in Birmingham in her name. She never mentioned me. She never said that Dr. Now mentioned this and he did this, and would be more ethical to say, I heard Dr. Nam saying this and picked it up from him. And then she became a specialist in lithium clinic out of nowhere. But the idea totally mine, and I presented the case. Hatru? Oh. مين؟ أنا بتصل فيك. Yeah, that's chanting to pay attention in the class. بديع السماوات والأرض وإذا قضى أمرا, when he wanted anything done, he just say to it be and it is. The difference, obviously, we need to think, will it work, and what's the possibility, what's the need of the market, what's the law saying, who's going to agree or disagree, where can I get the raw materials, how will I preserve it, how would I make mass production. There's a lot of things you think about before you go into any invention. Allah Azza wa Jalla is just perfect. He just be and it is, and it's perfect and remain perfect. I mean, we've been when we started coming here to pray Fajr and Isha, and how the time changed between winter and spring and summer and autumn. I'll never fail and carry on changing. People become like, lose the ability or the time or the motivation, or can't wake up early. But no change. I mean, the system carry on as it is without any change. بديع السماوات والأرض إذا قضى أمرا, he just say be and it is, and that's, you can never understand how. And this is why they have difficulty accepting the creation of the universe, the Big Bang, and they have difficulty where it came from, where all these materials came from, when there were singularities, nothing there, infinite velocity, zero volume. And they still, and then say, oh, there's multiverse, and then there's the loophole, and then there's the string theory, and then start just avoiding to believe in Allah saying to this, be and it is. إذا قضى أمرا فإنما يقول له كن فيكون. It doesn't need a child or all the people. And if Allah wished, He would have taken all mankind, destroy them, or make them all believers. وقال الذين لا يعلمون لولا يكلمنا الله أو تأتينا آية. And those ignorant Qurayshis were saying, why Allah doesn't talk to us or bring signs to us. The thing is that Allah when Musa alayhi salatu wasalam chose 70 people to go with him and listen to Allah, and they insisted on seeing Allah by naked eye, they all were dead in no time. So you had it before. Why you ask for it? Why you want Allah to talk to you or bring a sign? When He brought signs and they didn't believe, He destroyed them, like the she camel and like the drowning Pharaoh and things, and like the
Maida.
Maida, yeah, drop Maida for a table full of food on us. And then Allah Azza wa Jalla said, كَذَلِكَ قَالَ الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِمْ. This is what people before them said. The same say, تَشَابَهَتْ قُلُوبُهُم. Their hearts are alike. And subhanAllah, even now, they say things against religion. We heard the Qurayshi said it. And we heard the Persians said it at the time of the Prophet and the Sahaba. And we heard the Christians said it at that time. And they keep repeating the same things. Like they said that Muhammad ﷺ is being taught by because he had a friend he used to visit who was Persian. They said, oh, he was teaching him the Quran. So that guy, he doesn't speak Arabic, he speaks Persian. But the Quran came in pure Arabic. And there's agents, you know, they have contact with a foreign country. It's the same. They say it in Syria. They have this, you know, rebel. They have contact and support from other countries to deny that, you know, it's two people just shouting, asking for A, B, C, or whatever. The problem now in North Syria, because the sanctions and the twist in the politics in the North Syria, they can't get any help to them from Turkey or from the south in Syria or from outside. They're so desperate now, and subhanAllah, I tried to find, because we had some money to send it. They still haven't received the money we sent to your cousin. They said one day then we'll give it. We'll send through the Starling Bank.
Yeah, I had that. Well, I sent Starling Bank for the past few days and they rejected it. I don't know if it's in Starling Bank.
They haven't rejected, but they haven't passed it.
No, it took a few days. They didn't get anything,
and then rejected.
it. So they got message.
When I sent through Western Union, they asked for a copy of his passport and his accommodation, his this, his that, and they did that when I was sending to my sister in Mecca. Then they sent the money back from Mecca. They didn't give it to her. £146. They smuggled with money laundering 400 billions, and they stopped £146. They're so expert. Obviously, those criminals who are going to clean their money, they have the system on their side. Inside, they have all sorts, you know, from chief executive, you know, down. There will have people who will okay it for them. Who will be losing? Those who are sending £146 and, you know, £200-300 and subhanallah. The same thing. تشابهت قلوبهم قد بينا الآيات لقوم يوقنون. Your battery is low. Thank you. So we'll stop here, inshallah, and we will go back to it next week, and we will move on to the subject, which is purification of the heart. And today we're going to talk about ghiba, inshallah. So if we drop this and bring this back.